the Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com. Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
All right, let's sort of recap what happened in Game 3 between the Hawks and Wild. The Hawks won 1-0 thanks to Patrick Kane and outstanding goaltending by Corey Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. 30 saves. And I just kind of liked how Devin Dubnyk, after the game, the reporters asked him what happened on the goal, and you know what he said?
What?
The puck went through my legs.
Yeah, there you go.
And then after the game, their head coach, Mike Yao, said that Corey Crawford is Martin Brodeur against them. There's no way they can get past. Did you know the last 3 postseasons, Corey Crawford is 11-3 against Minnesota?
That's crazy.
And his save percentage was really high. Goals allowed average was really high. 2 shutouts. And then their coach said and then Patrick Kane's always scoring goals against him. And then there's an article I read that said the Wild are really going to have a tough time in trying to beat the Blackhawks in the coming years because their 3 best players are Zach Parise, Jason Pominville, and Thomas Vanek, who are all over 30.
Right.
Where the Hawks have Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, who are 26. Teuvo Teravainen's 20. Brandon Saad's 22. So, I mean, the Hawks aren't going anywhere.
No,
I mean,
they're not going anywhere.
You know, I mean, the Wild just don't have enough talent to beat the Blackhawks.
Right.
And then the Hawks also have a Stanley Cup winning goalie in Corey Crawford. Plus, they have some pretty good defenders. I mean, I know the Hawks need to get younger on defense, except you still got a 2-time Norris winning defenseman in Duncan Keith.
Yes, you do, and it was a very good game, and I was surprised that they were going up 3-0. I thought,
you see, because this is the 3rd year in a row they played the Wild. What's happened the first 3 games every year? The Blackhawks won the first 2 games in Chicago, and Minnesota won Game 3 in Minnesota each year, and now the Hawks took the first 2 in Chicago, and then they took Game 3 in Minnesota, and really it's doomsday now for Minnesota. They're not coming back against the Blackhawks.
No, even if they win tonight, they're not going to win Game 5 in Chicago.
Yeah, and then there's a Minnesota sports writer that said, it's only happened 4 times out of 180 tries that a team has gone up 3-0 in the series that the team has come back, and they said you can go back to last year to see. You can go back to last year to see the last time that a team came back from down 3-0, except then he said after that he put like ... except the Blackhawks are not the San Jose Sharks.
No, they are not. And, San Jose obviously has horrible postseason success. But
awful.
Probably the worst out of any team. But, the Hawks up 3-0 right now, I mean, it's setting up for a sweep here, and I hope they do it to make this day at least partly Chicago winning, as the Cubs and Sox both lost.
And what's really funny about this is Minnesota scored 4 goals in the series, and Patrick Kane has scored 4 on his own in this series.
Yeah, and that pretty much shows you. I mean, our defense has come up big. Corey Crawford's been huge, obviously.
Yeah, the funny thing is, and now he's back to his old mask because the other one got a huge ding in it from that shot to the helmet.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was a scary play, or it could have been a scary play.
Yeah, the way the announcers were talking was like, it sounded like, they might have to bring Corey Crawford out of the game because he was shaken up after that. Mm-hmm. Instead, he just changed masks and went back in net and did his thing in that 4-1 win.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Minnesota, I'm pretty sure that I thought this was the best Minnesota team the Blackhawks had faced, and somehow the Blackhawks are playing even better.
I was hoping St. Louis would beat Minnesota just because I thought it would be easier for the Hawks to actually play Minnesota.
Yeah, I wanted them to play,
to play St. Louis.
I honestly want them to play the Wild just because I can't stand the Blues and Blues fans.
Yeah.
And, except the only thing with that thing was I was just like, you can only beat the same team in the postseason so many years in a row before they finally win.
Right. But it's not going to be this year.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll probably happen eventually as long as they keep playing every year. Mm-hmm. Except it might not be for a long time because as long as the Hawks, as long as no one's injured, and if you remember, Patrick Kane was supposed to be questionable to play at the start of this series when he immediately went down with that broken collarbone. Yeah. They didn't even know if he'd be ready for the second round. And instead he was back for Game 1 against Nashville, and he's played unbelievably well, considering the kind of injury he's coming back from.
Right, and obviously that's good to see. They play tonight, just a half hour after our show ends. Who do you think is going to win this game? Are you going with the Hawks?
I'm going with the Hawks. I'd love this.
Going with the Hawks.
The only negative with a sweep is that, yes, you're resting, except at the same time it's a long layoff, and that could hurt you in game one.
It's a long layoff, but I think the Hawks are a good enough team where it really shouldn't matter.
Now, the only thing is that if they play Anaheim and, let's say they have an off game one, it's not as big of a deal because game one against Anaheim is on the road and not in Chicago.
Right.
Where you can maybe afford that if it's on the road. Now, if it's Calgary, I don't think they'll have any problems. I'm still hoping that Calgary wins because that would mean I got that Eastern Conference bracket 100% right. If Calgary and the Hawks win this series, I will have had every single series right in the Western Conference.
Right. Let's see. Montreal and Washington would have to come back from 3-0 and 3-1 deficits to have my Eastern Conference Finals correct between New York and Montreal. My Western Conference matchup is Chicago and Anaheim. That'll probably happen.
My conference finals was the Hawks and Calgary, which both of ours can happen, and I guarantee half of it will be right at least.
Well, we know the Hawks are going.
Will. So. And my Eastern Conference, I think I had Pittsburgh and Detroit.
Yeah, so your Eastern Conference was not as good as my Eastern Conference, but your Western Conference was a little better than mine.
My Western Conference, I've gotten everything right so far.
Because I had St. Louis instead of Minnesota.
Yeah, if I had the Rangers beating the Penguins, I would have had them playing. I would have had them in the. I was going to have the winner of that series in the conference finals.
Did you look at what percentile that you're in the bracket challenge?
No,
I'm in the 78th percentile. I'm assuming you're probably. I would be
above. I would be above that. Does it factor in how many games you picked the series to end in, or is it just by you picked the series right?
Just the first round was how many series, and you got 3 bonus points if you picked Hawks in 6. Or
Let's see. I had Hawks in 6, and I had Wild in 6.
I'm in the 78th percentile. So maybe when you get a chance, you can take a look and see. Because I'm in the 78th percentile right now. I think I'm 200,083 or something like that was my number that I'm in. I'll log in a little later and see, but so Hawks and Wild tonight, big game. I think we both said that they're going to sweep.
Yeah,
hopefully they do.
Yeah, if not, it'll be a close game, and then if they end up losing, if they lose, it'll be a close game. They'll win Game 5 in Chicago. No worries there.
No, I don't think so. As we said, Montreal is beating Tampa Bay right now 5-1.
They're slowly coming back.
They can. If any team's going to come back from a 3-0 deficit, I think it would be the Montreal Canadiens.
It would be Montreal or the Blackhawks because Carey Price can just go on a tear in 4 games because he's the best goalie in the world. And all it needs to happen is Carey Price to happen.
Right. All right, thank you for joining us tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. here on sports.chicago.com for the Sports Renegades. We will be back on tomorrow afternoon, 12 to 2 p.m. for the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour. We'll talk more about Chicago sports. Hopefully we'll be recapping the Blackhawks sweep of the Minnesota Wild. We'll look ahead to the series once again for the Sox and Cubs. And we'll probably talk more about the Bears. We didn't get to a whole lot of Bears stuff, and we didn't really recap the draft too much. So we can do that as well tomorrow. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky. Thanks for listening. Have a great night. We'll be back on tomorrow.
The Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.